I call upon the College Chaplain, Father Michael Wall, to read the conferring blessing.
Sluk as litany of Paul cig na hefishig. Shani and fo a dhemer modlúne I vína sha nahar on an meter gach clown nav agus talav. Goduga sé dív as olvahas a glóra, go bhaig sib nacht agus cumas in bhánach trin spirit. Go ganóid Christ a bhú grí chrí credah, go meid sib préomhathe agus bunathe sa gró, hlí go bhéidig sib féin agus an néamh go léir, Ada agus lehead agus irda agus dainas a hiiscint. Go gurrig sib ólas a gró Christ atá is chun tuiscine, as go lín for sib the línbhracht umlán dé. Glór don té úd a féidir ó I bhad níos mó dhéanamh, ná mar a díorfaimísne nó smuoineh féin Tríd an cócht atá ag obair uning. Glór go raibh aige an aglas agus I Christ Isa, ó glún go brach na brethe. Amen.
I am pleased to call on the President of the University of Limerick, Dr. Des Fitzgerald, to formally convene a meeting of the University for the purpose of conferring academic awards.
Bishop Leahy, Minister, Senators, members of the University of Limerick Governing Authority, members of the Mary Immaculate College Governing Authority, members of the academic councils, faculty members, distinguished guests, parents, friends, and the graduates of 2017. A meeting of the university is hereby convened for the purpose of conferring academic awards. Exercising the power granted to the University of Limerick by the Oireachtas Éireann, I hereby confer awards of the university on the graduates of the Faculty of Education. Students not present are hereby conferred in absentia.
I am pleased to call on the Chairperson of the College Governing Authority of Mary Immaculate College, Bishop Brendan Leahy, to make an address of welcome.
Mr. Finian McGrath, Senators, President of the University of Limerick, Professor Des Fitzgerald, Professor Eugene Wall, Acting President of Mary Immaculate College, fellow trustees of the college and members of An Tuaidh Rialaithe, members of the governing body of the University of Limerick, academic staff, other college staff members, invited guests, family, and most especially, of course, graduates of the LINK programme, class of 2017. It's my very great honour as chairman of An Tuaidh Rialaithe to welcome you for this graduation ceremony to Mary Immaculate College, the oldest third-level college in Limerick and the largest Catholic third-level institution in the state. In particular, I'm delighted that Professor Des Fitzgerald of the University of Limerick is with us today. As you know, he's recently become president of the college, and we're delighted he has honoured us with his presence at all the conferring ceremonies, and especially here today, this new moment for us with the lovely conferring ceremony of the LINK programme. So you're very, very welcome among us, and we're delighted you are here with us, and we wish you well in your task as new president of the University of Limerick. Well done. Tá an áthas ó chrí orm 100,000 fáilte a ribh ile go dtí an chláiste inniuh. I congratulate you, the pioneers in a certain sense, the students of the LINK programme. This focus on early learning, early years learning, childhood is so, so important. Perhaps we have neglected it too much in the past, but it's wonderful that today we're taking new steps and we have people like yourselves coming forward with engaging in programs like the LINK programme for the betterment of all. I recall my own mother, late mother, Lord rest her soul, when she came from Kerry to Dublin to start teaching. She was a teacher, yes, but she found herself in her first position having to teach, what's the word, 3 or 4 year olds, but there was 110 of them in the class, and she was on her own. So certainly we can't say that we got it right too much in the past. But it's wonderful that today now we're taking great new steps and really focusing on the child, the importance of the child. Of course, all our educational theory tells us the sooner and the quicker we can really work and encourage and promote the well-being of the child, the better for the whole education enterprise and the better for society. So it's wonderful that you are here and that you've engaged in this program, and we congratulate you on reaching this point, having engaged in the blended learning programs that you've been involved in. In congratulating you, I want to congratulate naturally your tutors and all the staff who've supported you in the program. Many people have been involved. And of course, in the background here in Mary Immaculate College, there's a lot of people working away. Perhaps we don't always see them, but I want to acknowledge today the fact that we can be rightly proud of the academic and administrative, professional and pastoral profile of Mary Immaculate College. So many people benefit from what goes on here. And not just here within the walls, but also now through modern technology, as you yourselves have seen, online facilities, but therefore not just here in Limerick, but also nationally and internationally. The fruits of the research, both in education and the liberal arts, are certainly extending very far, with the reputation of Mary Immaculate College gaining ground day by day, more and more, both nationally and internationally. So I am very grateful to all of the staff. I'm very grateful, of course, to all the staff who've prepared these days of graduation, but today now being your day, I'm grateful to them for preparing your work and bringing you to this day. Thanks too to Professor Eugene Wall, the acting president of Mary Immaculate College, and the senior management team who have worked so tirelessly and effectively in these past months of transition. I cannot but, on this occasion, also recall a man who was president of this college from 2011 to 2017. Most of you didn't know him, the late Professor Michael Hayes, but I do recall when it was announced that the college had been granted this possibility of running this program, the LINK program, how delighted he was, overjoyed he was at the news, and really, really pleased that so many of you would be involved and be given this opportunity. So I'm recalling him with fondness and a certain nostalgia, naturally, as I see you here today, knowing that from God's heaven, I'm sure he's proud of each one of you here too, and applauding you in your graduation. Professor Hayes often spoke of how studies at a Catholic college such as ours should contribute to you becoming a person of hope, a person of vision, a person of meaning, who sees meaning in this life and in the promise beyond, and works for the full flourishing of the human being, the human person. And that starts from the very beginning in the life journey of a child. You will leave here today now with a new award, looking forward, and I congratulate you on that. As you set out, may you be blessed in every way, especially with the hope that you can make a difference. You can make a difference, especially in the area of early childhood learning, and that your life will write history lessons of the future. That you are well equipped to leave a mark on history, as Pope Francis often comments on talking to young people especially, by sharing what you've learned, by putting it into practice. So thanks for being here, for giving us the joy of a graduation occasion. Thanks for coming forward to take up this opportunity of the LINK program. Thanks to your family members who are joining us here today, both here and online. Next year, at the World Meeting of Families to be held in Dublin, we will be celebrating the powerful contribution of family life in each of our lives. And you see that, of course, dealing with children. But today, too, I'm sure you are grateful for the support you are receiving. May you always remember today as one of the finest and proudest moments of your life. Berbua is benacht, Gurmahagriv.
I am pleased to call on the Minister of State, Finian McGrath TD, to make an address.
Good morning, everybody. And just want to say before I start, it's a very exciting day, and it's also a very positive day for you and your families. President, Vice President, Bishop Brendan, Senator Kieran O'Donnell and Senator Maria Byrne. First of all, I want to thank you this morning for the very, very warm welcome that I received when I arrived in the college and meeting some of the parents and families beforehand. There was a very positive, energetic sense and a great sense of pride. And as Minister of State for Children with Disabilities, I'm actually very, very excited about the future of early school education for all children with physical and intellectual disabilities. It's my great pleasure to be here to join you in celebrating your graduation from the Leadership for Inclusion Link Higher Education Programme. I mentioned earlier on my colleagues Senator Kieran O'Donnell and Senator Maria Byrne. You couldn't find two greater people who care passionately about children with disability and about education for children with disabilities. And I want to commend them and thank them for their great work. To go back to today's programme, this programme is about supporting the inclusion of children with a disability in free school provider under Early Childhood Care and Education Programme. This is a very worthy ambition and one that is very, very close to my own heart, with special responsibility for children with disabilities. Firstly, I want to again congratulate every one of you for graduating from the LINK programme. It's your particular day and you enjoy every single moment of it because it is a very important day for you and your family. And again, I want to pay a tribute to your family and friends who are here today as well. I'm sure that your support has made a major contribution to this achievement. And already this morning I've met some of the families and I know how proud they are. I also think it's very, very important when you go back out into the broader world of early education and working with children with disabilities that you also keep a close eye on the family of the child with the disability. Because that early years, they're very, very difficult for parents. There's a lot of sadness there. There's a lot of anxiety there when you're a young parent of a child with a physical or intellectual disability. But you will be part of that process, and all I'll ask you today is keep a very, very close eye on the mum and dads in those situations, because they'll need your support, they'll need your energy, and they'll need your professionalism. I'd also like to congratulate the LINK Consortium led by Immaculate College and in partnership with Early Childhood Ireland and Maynooth University, the Frebel Department of Primary and Early Childhood Education. It is clear to me that the different expertise brought by the consortium members has resulted in a very, very successful partnership. I would like to thank the programme steering group and pay tribute to the National Programme Coordinator, Fintan Breen, and the wider LINK team who made this programme possible. It is heartening to see so many people in attendance here today showing their commitment to continuous professional development and to the inclusion of children with additional needs. The LINK programme is a key initiative under the Access and Inclusion Model AIM, designed to ensure that children with disabilities can access and participate in early childhood care and education programmes to the fullest extent possible. AIM was launched in June 2016 and funding of over 32 million was provided for AIM this year. AIM came about from the recommendations of the Interdepartmental Group, which included senior officials from the Department of Children and Youth Affairs, the Department of Education and Skills, and also from my own department, the Department of Health. And it is important to know that in the current school year, for example, AIM has provided 2,661 supports to 2,189 children in 1,112 preschool settings. I think it's important that we acknowledge that. AIM is a child-centred model involving 7 levels of progressive support, moving from the universal to the targeted based on the needs of the child and the preschool provider. The model offers tailored and practical supports based on the need and does not require a formal diagnosis of disability. The range of different supports available as part of the model include the development of an inclusive culture through a range of initiatives, including new diversity, equality and inclusion charter and guidelines for early years sector, together with a funded training programme on the charter and guidelines, which is currently being rolled out. Enhanced continuing professional development for early year practitioners. Access to mentoring for early years from a team of dedicated early years specialists. The provision of equipment, appliances, assistive technology and grants for minor alterations. Access to HSE therapeutic services, where there are critical to enable the child to participate in the preschool and increase capitation for preschool providers in the case of children with very, very complex needs. So it can be seen that AIM enables children with a disability to benefit from high-quality early years education alongside their peers. While it is important that children with disabilities are not made to feel unnecessarily different, it is also important for children who don't have disabilities to learn from those who do. And I think that's an important aspect to it. Building an inclusive culture where every child matters is the cornerstone of AIM, and the LINK programme is a very important and vital part of their effort. As you know, LINK is a Level 6 Special Purpose Award for early years practitioners. As in the case with AIM, LINK is also in its infancy, and those graduating today represent the first of 4 planned intakes onto the programme. I understand that the LINK programme runs from September to June and contains online and classroom-based sessions in order to ensure a flexible and quality learning experience. While most of the programme is delivered online, the classroom-based sessions are offered in 9 regional centres in order to ensure access to practitioners right across the country. The online aspect also enables early years practitioners in full-time employment to attend this important continuing professional development programme. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge your hard work over the past year, both working and studying, and to commend you all for it. I've heard early years practitioners have engaged enthusiastically with this programme, and feedback suggests that LINK is having a very positive and significant impact on the practice within early years settings and on the inclusion of children with a disability. In fact, LINK has already won an award at the 2017 Education Awards for the Best Online Learning Experience. These awards, by the way, recognise, they encourage and celebrate excellence in the third level education sector in Ireland. And this is a hugely significant achievement given the LINK programme is so new. I'm also pleased to hear that the second intake of students onto the LINK programme commenced their study last month. But the focus of today is on you, the pioneers of this programme. And again, I want to congratulate you. Most of you graduating here today are already performing a new leadership role of inclusion coordinator within your preschool setting. This role involves providing leadership within the early years setting in relation to the issues of diversity, equality and inclusion. As part of this role, you will play a critical role, supporting staff on the implementation of inclusive practices in curricular planning and assessment, which supports the regular reviewing of the learning environment, daily routines, activities and social interactions, assisting with applications for support under AIM and liaison where necessary with AIM early years specialists and other professionals working with the child. And very importantly, promoting diversity, equality and inclusion charter and guidelines and supporting staff to engage with these, and advocating on behalf of the children and engaging in regular consultation with children to allow their ideas, their feelings and thoughts to contribute to service provision and delivery. In preparing for today, I took some time to reflect on what it means to be a leader. And I came across the following quote, which I thought was very, very appropriate to you all today. And the quote is, "Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others." I think that's very important. And you will continue and develop the process of growing others, particularly in this context of children with disabilities. It's also worth reminding ourselves as well that we've done a lot over the last 20 years in relation to the supporting families and children with disabilities. But of course, we need to up our game, and that's part of my job as Minister of State. But it's also important to acknowledge the fantastic work that you are involved in and that you will further develop on the whole area of early education. And it's also important when you're in a third level institution like today to remind ourselves that now There are over 12,000 young adults, disabled adults, in third-level colleges up and down this country. And that to me is a very, very historic thing compared to 20 years ago, when a lot of people with physical or intellectual disabilities weren't allowed near a third-level college, and it was part of the ethos of the education system. So when I talk about equality, when I talk about diversity and talk about inclusion, this is what it's about. It's about implement it through your work. Now that you have come through the LINK programme, you have the opportunity to make a very positive impact, both individually and collectively, on the lives of children. Just to conclude, I'd like to once again offer my heartiest congratulations on this significant achievement. I hope that you enjoy and your families enjoy the rest of today's festivities, which are very well deserved. And I'd like to wish you all the best of luck in the future. Once again, thank you very much.
The Dean of the Faculty Education, Acting, Dr. Angela Kenny, will present the candidates for the conferring of undergraduate awards in education.
President, the Academic Council of the University has been satisfied that the following candidates are worthy to be conferred with undergraduate awards. Therefore, I present the candidates and request you to confer the awards on them.
Claire Barden. Pauline Barnett. Carol Barrett. Melissa Barrett. Mary Byrne. Kelly Bennett, in absentia. Anna Bergen. Regina Burchell. Bernadette Blackton. Patricia Bliss. Emma Bowen. Siobhan Walsh. Claire Boyce. Elisha Brennan. Fidelma Brennan. Rosaline Breslin. Patricia Brown. Margaret Buckley. Karen Buckner. Noreen Buggy, Geraldine Bush Barnett, Siobhan Buston, Anne Byrne, Avril Byrne, Barbara Byrne, Fiona Byrne, Frances Byrne, Lisa Byrne, Nicola Byrne, Pauline Byrne, Pamela Callan, Eileen Campbell, Amanda Carroll, Danielle Carter-New, Nicola Casey, Noel Clancy, Amy Clark, Elaine Clark, Lillian Cleary, Sharon Collins, Michelle Collins-Lewsley, Nora Commons, Cora Concannon, and Catherine Connor. Mary Considine, Megan Cook, Maria Corcoran, Regina Corcoran, Magella Corrigan, Maria Corrigan, Rachel Cosgrave, Adina Costello, Karen Costello. Tanya Costello. Veronica Crawford. Patty Creedon. Catherine Cronin. Maura Cronin. Janet Crowley. Margaret Crowley. Mary Cuddihy. Mary Cuddy. Barbara Curran. Sharon Curran. Veronica Daly. Rachel Dargan. Moraid Davis. Deirdre DeFuita. Marion DeFreitas. Edna De Souza. Joanne D. Naomi Dempsey. Roseanne Dempsey. Christina Deneen. Paula Dobbin. Saoirse Doheny. Colette Doherty. Joan Doherty. Sharon Doherty. Madeline Dollard. Aoife Donoghue. Gillian Donovan. Marilyn Duffy. Mary Duffy. Debbie Dunn. Tara Dunn. Bernadette Egan. Bernie Egan. Sandra Egan. Rosaline Fairbrother. Caroline Faulkner. Tara Finn. Claire Finnegan. Lynn Finnegan. Katrina Fitzgerald. Olga Fitzgerald. Catherine Fitzpatrick. Kathleen Flanagan. Tara Flynn. Philomena Foley. Dermot Furlong. Jackie Furlong Kenny. Anne-Marie Gale. Ciara Gallagher. Lisa Gallagher. Lorna Gamble. Sue Garahy. Valerie Gaynor. Samantha Gagan Ward. Natanya Gehigan. Sandra Gleason. Agnieszka Gornika. Teresa Graney. Louise Griffith. Paula Guckian. Sarah Hallahan. Tony Hamrock. Pauline Hamrogue. Breda Harnett. Leisha Harrington. Aisling Hart. Emma Hastings. Maud Hayes. Susan Hayes. Patricia Hennessy. Sinead Hennessy. Anne-Marie Herity. Linda Hogan. Grania Holleran. Fiona Honan Walsh. Diane Horgan. Jennifer Horgan. Julie Horsam. Michelle Hockton. Josephine Hourigan. Tracy Hourigan. Liz Jackson. Jacqueline James. Fiona Jennings. Sinead Jones. Desiree Jordan. Corinne Kane. Fiona Keane. Johanna Keeney. Aisling Carney. Magella Kelleher. Anya Kenny. Kelly, I beg your pardon, Anya Kelly. Carmel Kelly. Margaret Kelly. Sharon Kennedy. Elizabeth Kenny. Sandra Kenny. Eilish Kyo. Emma Kerr. Susan Kingston. Jeannie Kyle. Sarah Lacey. Kevin Lawler. Alison Leeson. Donna Lenihan. Janice Lenihan. Julia Lenihan. Heather Leonard. Nuala Lewington. Anne Leyburn. Donna Lilly. Emer Logan. Mary Long. Anne Lorden. Jennifer Loughlin. Gillian Lowry. Caroline Lucy. Marie Lucy O'Connor. Fiona Lynch. Carol Lyons. Anne Meccan. Laura Meccan. Maria Mahoney. Jackie Malone. Jennifer Malone. Mariana Maloney. Helen Mannion. Susan Maples. Melissa Martin. Erica Mato. Sarah Matthews. Katrina Mohan. Karesh Macaulay. Patricia McBrearty. Patricia McCann. Fiona McCarthy. Aisling McCaughey. Mary McColgan. Carol McCormack. Catherine McCormack. Mary McCormack. Roisin McCrae. Orla McCrory. Marilyn McDermott. Ciara MacDonald. Breda McElduff. Maureen McHenry. Emma McAvoy. Paula McGee. Stephanie McGovern. Barbara McGrath. Annie McGuinness. Maeve McNamara. Eileen McNeela. Sarah McShane. Amy Maloney Keane. Patricia Mulcahy. Marion Mulkern Colgan. Katie Mulvaney. Esther Murphy. Geraldine Murphy. Lelia Murphy. Minna Murphy. Anne Murray. Marie Murray. Paula Myler. Lisa Nash. Breed Neelan. Maria Ni Arta Hallahan. Anya Ni Chwarain. Eileen Ni Lupine. Claire Nolan. Nicole Nolan. Anne Noonan Price. Marguerite O'Brien. Norma O'Brien. Phil O'Brien. Susan O'Brien. Mary O'Connell. Denise O'Connor. Hazel O'Connor. Caroline O'Connor Coleman. Mary O'Donnell. Deirdre O'Donoghue. Anne O'Dowd. Noelle O'Driscoll. Margot O'Dwyer. Geraldine O'Grady. Yvonne O'Keefe. Wendy O'Leary. Deirdre O'Loughlin. Kathleen O'Mahony. Anne O'Meara. Deirdre O'Neill. Jennifer O'Neill. Magella O'Reilly. Michelle Osborne. Amy O'Shea. Anne O'Sullivan. Joan O'Sullivan. Laura O'Sullivan. Margaret O'Sullivan. Yvonne O'Sullivan. Aisling O'Toole. Laura Perez Gonzalo. Kendra Phipps. Fiona Power. Patricia Quigley. Maggie Quinn. Anne Quirk. Eileen Quirk. Andrea Quiroz Rodriguez. Lavinia Reed. Bernie Redden. Carrie Redmond. Patricia Reed. Tracy Riley. Linda Richardson. Lorraine Riddle. Maura Roach. Kay Ryan. Martina Ryan. Maxine Ryan. Philomena Ryan. Valerie Ryan. Manpreet Sani. Lorraine Sexton. Sinead Shanahan. Cara Sheedy. Avril Sheehan. Hazel Sillery. Claire Slattery. Sandra Slattery. Shirley Smith. Julie St. George. This had better be a good one. Margaret Stenson. Kathleen Sullivan. Anne Sweeney. Jeanne Thorne. Noreen Timothy. Nicola Tobin. Grania Toomey. Denise Traynor. Claire Toohey. Lorraine Toohey. Mary Toohey. Sandra Timon. Catherine Tyrrell. Noreen E. Loughlin. Josephine E. Voriasa. Susan Vaughan. Margaret Walsh. Marie Eleanor Walsh. Marie Louise Walsh. Pamela C. Walsh. Pamela J. Walsh. Wendy Walsh. Laura Ward. Sinead Ward. Debbie Whelan. Marguerite White. Dawn Williams. Natasha Williams. Rosemary Wilmot. Anya Wynne. Niamh Fitzgibbon. And Pamela O'Donovan. I now have great pleasure in introducing the special awards. The College Gold Medal. This medal is presented by the Acting President of MIC for the Certificate in Leadership for Inclusion in the Early Years, and it's presented to the graduate who is awarded first place in the Certificate for Leadership and Inclusion in the Early Years. And the winner, the inaugural winner, is Emma Carr. And the next award is the LINC Portfolio Award, and this is presented by Teresa Heaney, CEO, Early Childhood Ireland. And the winner this year, again, the inaugural winner, is Margaret O'Sullivan. I now call upon Dr. Des Fitzgerald, President of the University of Limerick, to make his address.
Chancellor, members of the Governing Authority of the University of Limerick, Chairperson and members of Tudoros Rialta, President of Mary Immaculate College, distinguished guests, parents, friends and members of the graduating classes of 2017. It is my pleasure and privilege to address you at this conferring of degrees and academic awards at Mary Immaculate College. And a special welcome to Minister Finian McGrath, who addressed you earlier, and Senators Maria Byrne and Kieran O'Donnell. This is my first graduation in Mary Immaculate. I began as president of the University of Limerick in May of this year, and it's a real privilege and an honour for me to be addressing you today. I want to start on a personal note. I had the privilege of coming to know the late Professor Michael Hayes for a brief period before his untimely death earlier this year. It was an important meeting. He gave me great encouragement, and I came away with a strong understanding of the ethos and mission of Mary Immaculate College. He is a great loss to this institution, but he's also a great loss to education and training in Limerick and throughout Ireland. His will be a lasting memory. I want to congratulate Eugene Wall and Angela Canny and Eugene O'Brien and everybody in the institution who has done so much work, and of course not just today, but over the past year, as they have ensured that your experience with Mary Immaculate College was an excellent one, and that's why you are here today. Of course, this ceremony is entirely about you. You have done a huge amount of work to graduate here at Mary Immaculate College today. And I have to say that we're very proud of you. I often say that individuals honor degrees, not degrees honor individuals. And it's true that you have honored us today by graduating from the university, because we know that you're outstanding students and you've done a huge amount of work to get to this point. Of course, as we know, many of you have been supported by family and friends who are here today, parents, brothers and sisters, your spouses and partners, your children. They've all played an important role, and I want to congratulate you. You are rightly proud of our graduates. And I would also like to congratulate our teachers who have spent so much time with you. Their commitment has ensured that you are here today also. The University of Limerick and Mary Immaculate College are two very different institutions, and yet we have worked very closely together in the past over 2 decades now in education and training here in Limerick, and as we see more widely now throughout the country. I only found out in the last few days a bit about the history of Mary Immaculate College. It has age on its side. I'd say the University of Limerick has youth on its side. We're a young institution, we're incredibly ambitious. But in fact, the two of us together are ambitious for the future, and we've put together we've created some innovative programs, a joint BA degree this year for the first time, which means that students from the University of Limerick come here for some other education and training, and likewise students from here go to the University of Limerick. So that program kicked off this year. We were all very worried about it, how it would work, and in fact it's been terrifically successful. But we have other plans and other things that we want to do in the future, particularly in the field of education. Not many people know that we train 40% of all teachers in the country here in Limerick between our various institutions. So we have an important role to play in teacher education, and we want to go on to deliver that further. We also have formed a partnership between ourselves and Limerick Institute of Technology, the Shannon Consortium. And again, that's playing an important role in delivering innovative educational programs, particularly postgraduate programs through our flagship partnership in postgraduate education here in Limerick, and also in providing improved access for students. And when we say that, we talk about the undergraduate degrees, but we also speak about mature students, and I know there's many mature students here today, we want to ensure that you have every opportunity to go to university and to the college and have continuing professional development opportunities offered by our joint institutions. I know that's for some of you, you've been to college before, and this is a postgraduate diploma. For some of you, you've never been to college before. I hope you see this as your first entry point to university, and that you will come back at some stage and go further in your education. These days, everybody has a different route to university. It's not the traditional route. We try very hard to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to go to university. I'm an example of that. When I left school an awful long time ago, no one ever spoke to me about university, and nobody in my family had ever been to university. And at the end of a summer of disappointment, in that I wasn't able to get a job, I got a letter in the post offering me a scholarship to university. Effectively offered me to pay my fees for any course that I might want to do. And I'm going to admit to you now that the reason I chose medicine was because of the longest course. And I thought, if anybody's going to pay me for 6 years to go to college, good. And after that, I did a variety of different jobs. I mean, I worked. I went out and I did some of the toughest jobs as a junior hospital doctor for many years, and then ultimately became president of the University of Limerick. The point is that for someone who never even thought about going to university, I ended up being the head of an outstanding institution. So you never know where this first step for many of you in university education is going to take you. And you have to be ambitious, and I hope that you will continue on your own personal development and come back to us as students in the future. And very importantly, pay the fees. We need our money. I know that this is a very special day for us because this is the first time that we have been awarding this Level 6 Special Purpose Award. That will make sure that we have people trained to look after children that have additional needs in their early years. This is a first step for these children. We know that we found out this the last few days. We've had children with special needs who've gone through the system, have come into the university and have graduated with Level 4 degrees just in the last few days here at the Mary Immaculate College. So it's an important first step for these children that they get every opportunity to be included in a class with other children and to take their first steps in education. You're the front line of this movement that the Minister talked about earlier on. And we would hope to continue to do this over the next few years. We've that funding, I think, for another 4 groups of students. And I think that this will have a huge impact on these children. And as the Minister said, and I think it's very important, is a big impact on the families, on the parents, who really are isolated in many cases. And having the opportunity that their children would meet people like you who are trained in being able to manage them, and being able to teach them, and being able to get them on that first few steps of education is really important to them. So there's a sign up there on the wall. If you just look over, it says, "Making a difference." That's what you're doing. You're going to make a difference to many people's lives. The other thing I just want to say to you is, look, be confident. You have an outstanding training. You're well equipped now to look after these children. As I say, you're the front line. So it's early days to see how this will work. But I really do believe that you have been trained and well equipped for the future. The other point I want to make is that you are now alumni of Mary Immaculate College and the University of Limerick. You will be rightly proud of our two institutions. We intend to continue to develop and build our reputation, and I think in the future you will look back at your time with the institution with pride. And as alumni, I hope that you will look back at the institutions and continue to support Mary Immaculate and the University of Limerick. I always say this to students, that you have and you know this because you're involved with your communities, but there's an important role that graduates of Mary Immaculate College and the University have, and that is in being responsible for your community, in continuing to contribute in a voluntary way to your communities. That's the spirit of Mary Immaculate College. That's the spirit of the Sisters of Mercy and Catherine McCauley, who established this college. And I hope that you will continue in that tradition. Not everything can be done by government and by other organizations. We as individuals, we as citizens, we the units of democracy, we have a responsibility in ensuring that we look after our community. I'm going to finish by a bit of advice, and you know what they say about free advice, it's not worth the money. Be ambitious. Be ambitious for everybody that's around you. Encourage each other. Encourage each other to come back to university and do more. We'll be here for you. This is not, we will continue to develop programs that will be targeted towards you. We'll help you in every way that we possibly can, but be ambitious, be confident, go out there and make a difference to these children. And finally, just to congratulate all of you again. This is a very important day. I know for some of you, you kind of seemed a bit surprised that you were here. One person came up, and she'll know who she is, and she said, "This is mad." It's not mad. This is you who managed to do this, you know. And somebody else came up and said to me, "Oh my God, I finally got here," which is, I think, which is great. I'm glad that you feel that way, but it's not mad. It's your success. Thank you very much.
I am pleased to call upon Professor Eugene Wall, the Acting President of Mary Immaculate College, to make his conferring address. Professor Wall.
Good morning. Chair of An Tuathras Rialaha, Bishop Brendan Leahy, Minister Finian McGrath, TD, Senators Maria Byrne and Kieran O'Donnell, President of the University of Limerick, Dr. Des Fitzgerald, trustees of the college, members of An Tuathras Rialaha, members of the governing authority of the University of Limerick, college staff and students, distinguished guests, parents, family, friends and graduates of the class of 2017. Farum fair Queen Fáilseróid Velig Gudi Sharmanis Brontan Leon you. Is Moragum vor Goluder Ern La Special the Shah Dar Gwyd Maclean. Trasliam a nepti legach ilakemi am run for poorer who in you. A Kamaila Shin Tago Gorgigus o Cree le Janu Lenam Winter Shoot. Agus legachtina a haki Lenar Gamaha agus either voher on lane on Shaw Galash the work on small. So as this graduation ceremony is drawing to a close, I'd like to begin by extending my warmest congratulations to the class of 2017 for arriving at this milestone in your lives. My colleagues and I here, we share your pride and we're absolutely delighted with your presence. You're the first cohort, as has been said, to undertake the Certificate in Leadership for Inclusion in the early years, the LINK programme as we now call it. And today we're graduating 847 students from counties throughout the length and breadth of Ireland. Because this is an online programme, for many of you, this is actually your first visit to MIC. I know that many of you have had long journeys in order to get here, and some of you must have had really early starts this morning, and you're looking resplendent notwithstanding that. In congratulating you on your significant achievement, I extend my thanks on your behalf to your family, your friends and colleagues who've supported you through the journey during the last year. It's by their support, assistance and their sacrifice that you've achieved on this programme, and it's important to pay tribute to them today. I invite you, our graduates, to join me in an expression of gratitude to those wonderful people. Mary Immaculate College has a long tradition of excellence in teaching and learning in the early years. Our first degree programme in early childhood care and education began 18 years ago in 1999, and since then our suite of programmes in this important area ranged from the Link programme today at level 6 to degree programmes at level 7, level 8 and to postgraduate programmes at level 9 and 10. So you've the road mapped out ahead for yourselves there. Here at MIC we're deeply committed not just to early childhood education but to quality early childhood education. We believe that high quality early childhood education is critical to building the foundations for lifelong learning and for enabling all children to reach their full potential. We concur with James Heckman, the Nobel Prize winning economist, when he observes that starting at 3 or 4 is too little too late, as it fails to recognise that skills beget skills in a complementary and dynamic way, and that efforts should focus on the first years for the greatest efficiency and effectiveness. We're also dedicated here to providing for the inclusion of all children right from the start, and delighted that this week we have our first graduates not only on the Link programme but also our first graduates of the Graduate Certificate in Autism Studies. This is offered in conjunction with Middletown Centre for Autism in Northern Ireland. These programmes join a suite of undergraduate and postgraduate programmes on offer here, which have the principles of inclusion at their core. Speaking about quality education, I was heartened by the initial evaluation results of the Link programme, and to see and hear the initial impact that the programme is making on the lives of children, their families and on society. The Link programme is specifically focused on assisting its graduates to lead inclusive culture, inclusive pedagogy and inclusive practice within your settings. As testimony to the learning experience on the Link programme, I'd like to take this opportunity to highlight a quote from one of the graduates here today, Margaret O'Sullivan, and this is kind of an unusual thing. We rarely do this. Margaret received her award earlier on, and she stated in her portfolio, and you've all done these portfolios, "Since completing my first assessment at the beginning of the Link course, I had an understanding that our preschool was an inclusive preschool. I learned that our practice was allowing inclusion and accommodating inclusion, but wasn't really embracing it in action. I didn't have the skills or the knowledge to understand fully what inclusion really meant." She continued, "When I reflect on what an inclusive culture and practice, along with an inclusive pedagogy is, it keeps me in tune with what inclusion is really about. I really enjoyed the course, didn't see it as a chore, but saw it as an opportunity. I thoroughly enjoyed the overall experience, and this has encouraged me to further my learning and to complete the Level 9 course in due course." Margaret's comments were echoed by so many of you in your portfolios, and during the programme, I think will sum up the fantastic attitude that so many of you have had, not towards early years care and education, but also to inclusion more specifically. I know then that you as ambassadors for inclusion will do everything you can to ensure that each and every child is included. The Link programme is offered by the consortium of MIC, Early Childhood Ireland, Maynooth University, the Frabble Department of Primary and Early Childhood Education, and these institutions, the two latter institutions, have also contributed a significant commitment to early childhood care and education, and we're delighted to have worked with them on this important initiative. Their expertise, their knowledge, their experience has significantly impacted on the LINK programme's success, and I wish to highlight this endeavour in particular to you. I think I need to say as well to the Minister that this is a particularly excellent example of collaboration and partnership within the higher education landscape, and the President of the University has already referred not only to this but to other developments in this area, and it's having a real and important impact for early years educator, children and society more generally. I have some more people to thank yet. In recognising the consortium, I wish to thank in particular the programme steering committee, including Dr. Emer Ring and Dr. Patsy Daly from Mary Immaculate College, Teresa Heaney and Marion Brennan from Early Childhood Ireland, Professor Mary McLaughlin and Patsy Stafford from the Freble Department of Maynooth, and Fintan Breen, who is the National Programme Coordinator, as well as the academic staff and the professional services staff at MIC who've supported this initiative since its inception. Echoing what Bishop Lee and Dr. Fitzgerald have already said, I'd like to pay sincere thanks to the late Professor Michael Hayes, who was President of the College from 2011 until his untimely death in April of this year. I wish to thank Minister Finian McGrath for joining us on this special day and for recognising on behalf of the Government the work done by the LINK Consortium. And as well, I want to thank you, the first graduates of the programme. We're privileged, Minister, that you could be here with us today to celebrate our graduates and to wish them the best as they continue their careers dedicated to the inclusion of all children. We'd like to take this opportunity also to acknowledge the Department of Children and Youth Affairs and the Department of Education and Skills for their wonderful initiative in relation to the LINK programme. I want to thank also the University of Limerick, which has ratified your degrees and deemed your standard of achievement suitable for the admission to the ranks of its graduates. I thank in particular the President of the University, Dr. Des Fitzgerald, for his presence with us at the conferring ceremony. On behalf of the College, I express our appreciation to all the university staff who've assisted you, our graduates, in their passage through the College. For their contribution to today's ceremony, I want to thank in particular the mace bearer, the University of Limerick, Michael Keane, and to Carrie O'Donnell, our sign language interpreter. Now, having said all that, I'd just like to go off script for a few minutes to reflect on a few personal comments. My background is as an educational psychologist. I continue to teach occasionally in that area. I spent more than 10 years doing psychological assessments on children with learning difficulties, particularly children with reading difficulties and children with specific speech and language problems. So I would like to talk to you about one of the children that I assessed very early on in my career because it helped to illuminate a number of things to me which were quite important in my personal practice. Early in my career, and this goes back about 20 years, I assessed a child who I'm going to call Laura for the purpose of what I'm saying here this morning. And Laura was 8 years and 2 months when I assessed her. She had a severe language disorder, she had a severe reading problem, and she was at that time struggling in a mainstream class with very limited support. To compound the difficulties that she was facing, she came from very difficult family circumstances. Her father had a serious mental health issue, he had schizophrenia, as well as alcoholism. And as a result of that, the family's financial circumstances were very difficult and very straitened. Her brother had a serious developmental disorder as well, a pervasive developmental disorder as it was termed at the time. So in terms of the risk profile, Laura was very seriously at risk. If you were to talk about it in terms of a prognosis, her prognosis would have been considered very poor. The reason I came to assess her was because I was on the admissions committee to a special language class, and she gained admission to that language class. Now, if you were to look at risks and how risks multiply, you would expect that a child like this had very little prospect of actually getting back into a mainstream class and of doing well. And that wasn't the case at all. Laura defied the odds. She spent 2 years in the special language class and she thrived, making great progress before returning to her own local school. So the question I'm asking today is why? And this is where the lesson came in for me. Nowadays, the explanation that would be given to that, and if I was in a psychology class, this is the explanation I'd give, was that Laura had resilience, and the word is widely used, and we talk about how do you cultivate resilience in people. Now, to simply talk about resilience as though it's some kind of a trait is facile. Resilience is not simply a trait that you either possess or you don't possess. What the research shows us is that there are certain experiences in our environment which help to protect us. It's those protective factors which help us not simply in cases of where you have a disability, but when you encounter grief. I counselled students in the college for a number of years, and some of those had severely traumatic experiences. Some of those individuals coped very well. Others were extremely stressed out about them for many years afterwards. And I discovered very quickly that there wasn't a direct proportionality between the severity of the problems and how people coped. And some individuals had more resilience. But to simply say that somebody has resilience is kind of putting the burden on them for either not having resilience or not having resilience. And that's why it's not acceptable. What you've got to look at is, what is the environment doing about this? What are the protective factors in the person's life? And the answer stood out very clearly in Laura's case. It was her mother. Her mother actually didn't pamper her because she had a language disability. But she worked extremely hard. She believed in Laura, and she set realistic standards for her and did everything in her power to nurture her to achieve those. And that was a wonderful lesson. And there were 2 lessons that I learned. The first was, no matter what a child's risk profile looks like, do not underestimate their learning potential given the right support and the right intervention. What we need to be wary of are self-fulfilling prophecies, what used to be known as the Pygmalion effect. If you believe that the person can't do it, they won't, because you won't provide the sort of supports that are necessary. And that was what was different in Laura's case. Her mother continued to believe that Laura was going to be able to overcome the difficulties that she had. And she was assisted also by very able professionals within the school that enabled her to do that. And they were crucial as well. And the second factor was, remember, the reason I put in that this was 20 years ago, because the Minister has touched on this. What you need is high quality, early age appropriate interventions rather than waiting for a failure to occur, because that's the most expensive way of doing it. And what I think the Minister has said, and I totally support this, is that in the last 20 years, we have come a huge distance in terms of the sort of provision that is being made available now. I remember when I got first involved in the assessment area, in the speech and language area, and I remember at that time that there was, I think, they were called remedial teachers in days. There was one learning support teacher at that stage, about 20 years ago, in the whole Midwestern area. And it's how far we have travelled in that distance that I think is a sign of hope and optimism. Yesterday at one of our conferring ceremonies, I pointed out that teachers are nation builders. And I observed that great teachers form the character of the country. Today I say the same to you. I salute the absolutely vital and pivotal work that you do as early childhood practitioners and leaders in shaping the minds and the emotional well-being of young children. As you become inclusion coordinators, you're now leaders for inclusion. And coming with that is not just a great responsibility, but a great expectation of the work you'll undertake. It will no doubt bring its own challenges, but it will also bring great joy and satisfaction and a sense of achievement. Learn from these challenges and embrace these achievements as you continue to strive for inclusion in all that you do, remembering that the impact that you make affects the lives of all children that you're involved with, and that's what really matters. Go dugad gath rath agus banach dí verfor dros síl, tá súlagam go mé lá jazz agah, go mí mai agah go léir.